What if I told you the best manual on, like, scaling a tech startup or managing a corporate team or even just running a local neighborhood charity?
Right.
What if I told you it wasn't written by some Silicon Valley CEO?
Yeah, that definitely catches your attention.
Right. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at an excerpt from chapter 4 of a leadership manual called The Church Playbook.
Which, on the surface, sounds very specific.
Very. On the surface, yes, this is ostensibly a guide about church growth and, ministry.
Yeah.
But if you take one step closer, it's actually this absolute masterclass in volunteer management and organizational momentum and customer experience. It just happens to be brilliantly disguised as a football analogy.
It really is. And it's a highly adaptable framework for you, the listener, no matter what you're building.
Exactly.
Because the author, who actually spent like 20 years coaching youth football before writing this, he breaks any organization down into 5 distinct groups.
Right. The owners, the coaches, the players, the spectators, and the city.
Spot on. And the core premise driving all of this is that if you want your organization to succeed, you have to, quote, get the fields ready.
Right.
And getting the field ready means something entirely different depending on which of those 5 groups you're actually dealing with at the time.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because usually, when you walk into a stadium, your eyes go straight to the action.
Oh, for sure. You're watching the quarterback.
Right. You're looking at the players, the ball, the scoreboard. But think about what actually makes that game possible in the first place.
The environment.
Exactly. The grass is cut to a really precise height. The boundary lines are painted this, like, blinding, crisp white.
Yeah.
The concession stands are stocked. The seats are clean. So the field isn't just the dirt under the players' cleats. It's the entire environment that everyone experiences.
And if that stadium's falling apart, right, or like if a fan can't figure out where to park, or the turf is dangerously uneven, right, the game itself almost doesn't matter at that point. The environment dictates the entire experience. So the question becomes, who decides what the stadium is even supposed to look like?
Which means we start at the top, the front office, the owners.
The top brass.
Right. In a corporate setting, this is, your board of directors. In a church, it's the elders or the senior leadership. And the source material says the owners have one primary job before anyone even steps onto the field.
They have to define the win.
Yes, they have to define the win. And I found this fascinating because we tend to think the win is always, I don't know, hoisting the Lombardi trophy, right?
Right, or going public.
Hitting $1 billion valuation, like total domination.
And defining the win that way is where a lot of young organizations make their first fatal mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they aim for the Super Bowl in year 1. But the playbook points out that a smart NFL owner might look at a rebuilding team and say, the win this year is just winning half our games.
Oh, just breaking even.
Exactly. Or they look at last season's stats and say, we gave up way too many rushing yards, so the win this year is simply shoring up the defense.
Right.
The win has to be a worthy, achievable goal for where you are currently standing.
So if your community group is just trying to grow to 200 people, the owners have to actually buy into that specific number as a worthy goal.
Yeah, rather than, stressing out about why they aren't at 1,000 yet.
And the playbook shares an incredible statistic about this. The author's own organization grew from 0 to 200 people in just its first year.
Which is huge.
Huge. And then over 800 within 4 years.
Wow.
And they do it by asking one very specific question to their leadership team. They asked, in the next 90 days, what are the 3 things we could do that would make our organization better or bigger?
That single question is the engine for their momentum.
Right.
It creates this massive fourthing function for clarity.
And the way they figure out those 3 things is wild. Like, they use a literal March Madness tournament bracket on a whiteboard.
Oh, I loved this part.
Right. So think about the NCAA tournament. They hand out legal pads to the leadership team. Everyone writes down every possible answer to that 90-day question.
Just brainstorming everything.
Exactly. Then they go around the room reading answers one by one and writing them on a whiteboard, alternating top, bottom, just like seeding a sports bracket.
Yeah, and then they make the ideas compete against each other.
Right. Idea 1 faces off against idea 16. The leadership team literally argues over which idea deserves to advance.
It's basically a debate club for priorities.
Exactly. The winner moves on, the loser is permanently crossed out, and they battle it out until only the final 3 objectives remain.
It is a brutal but like highly effective prioritization exercise.
Yeah.
You cannot leave the room until everyone is crystal clear on those final 3 objectives.
Right.
And maybe more importantly, who is specifically responsible for executing them.
Okay, but wait, I'm stuck on this 90-day thing.
Okay.
Because every business book, every corporate seminar tells you to set 1-year, 5-year, and 10-year visions.
Right. The long-term plan.
Yeah. If I only plan 90 days out, aren't I just reacting to fires instead of actually steering the ship? Like, is setting a 12-month goal actually a mistake for a young organization? Why limit it to 90 days?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of human psychology and organizational behavior, 90 days is the absolute sweet spot.
The sweet spot.
Yeah, for accountability and urgency. The author explicitly states that one of his own early mistakes was setting long-term goals.
Interesting.
Think about your own calendar right now. In a young or small organization, a 12-month goal is simply too hard to keep track of. It's too abstract.
So January's priority gets completely lost by July.
Exactly. You need quick wins.
Mm.
The stacking of small successes, one on top of the other, is what creates momentum. A 90-day sprint focuses your time and energy so completely that it leaves almost no room for organizational drift.
Okay, that makes sense. I do want to highlight a major caveat from the source here, though, which is vital for anyone listening who might be running a scrappy, volunteer-only operation.
Oh yeah, the staffing rule.
Right. The playbook says you only pick 3 90-day objectives if your organization has full-time leadership and at least 1 paid part-time staffer.
Right.
If you don't have that, like if everyone is volunteering their nights and weekends, you don't pick 3, you just pick 1.
Which is such an incredible lesson in resource management.
Yeah.
If you accomplish 4 highly focused objectives in a calendar year with an all-volunteer team, you will generate a massive amount of momentum without burning everyone out.
Okay, so the strategy is set. The owners have defined the win using their bracket. The 90-day goals are locked.
Right.
But an objective on a whiteboard doesn't accomplish itself.
Definitely not.
Someone has to execute. Which brings us to a massive trap that founders and leaders fall into involving the second group in our framework, the coaches, specifically the head coach.
The trap of doing it all.
Yes.
In new or smaller teams, budgets are tight,
Yeah.
right? So the head coach, in the playbook's context, this is the senior pastor, but really
Right.
it's any CEO, founder, or project lead. They end up doing all the heavy lifting.
Right, because there simply aren't enough assistant coaches around to delegate to.
Exactly.
And the source argues that over time, this is entirely to the head coach's detriment. The smart move is to actively identify and recruit player coaches.
Yeah, the veterans.
Right. The playbook uses Tom Brady, Jason Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes as examples. These are people who might be older, maybe in the twilight of their physical playing career, but they know the game inside and out.
And they command the respect of the locker room.
Exactly. They are coaches in the making.
But, recruiting those people requires a massive ego check from the current leader.
Oh, absolutely.
The playbook is very blunt about this. The head coach is not the star player of the team anymore. They might have been in their heyday, but those days are gone.
Right.
Their job now is to cast the vision, inspire the team, and lead them to victory from the sidelines.
Yeah.
I love this specific quote here. The coach's days of doing some ridiculous TikTok dance in the end zone are long over.
I laughed out loud at that line.
It's so good.
It really paints a picture, and the author gets incredibly specific with this advice, calling out pastors directly. He says, I know you know 3 chords on the guitar. I know you used to be a dynamic worship leader back in the day.
Right. Like, we get it. You're talented.
Yeah. But the advice is to let the actual worship leader handle scheduling the band, running the rehearsals, putting the songs in the software, give them what they need, encourage them, and then, this is the kicker, get out of their way.
Because getting the field ready for your coaches means the head coach's primary job has to undergo a fundamental shift.
A shift in focus.
Right. You have to stop leading the organization directly and start leading the assistant coaches who are leading the organization.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. It makes me think of an orchestra conductor.
Oh, I like that.
Right. Like if you are the conductor and you are busy trying to play the tuba, because you used to be really good at the tuba and you want to show off.
You can't possibly hear if the violins are out of tune.
Exactly. You have to physically put the instrument down, step onto the podium, and listen to the whole piece of music.
That analogy hits a nail on the head regarding the psychology of delegation.
Yeah.
If you are busy playing the tuba, who is making sure the rest of the players actually have their sheet music,
Right.
delegation only works if the people actually doing the work, the boots on the ground, are equipped and protected.
Which perfectly sets up our third group, The players.
The volunteers.
The ushers, the greeters, the coders pulling late nights, the people who actually suit up and play the game.
Yeah.
The playbook notes that players generally understand that not everyone gets to be the quarterback. Not everyone is built for the spotlight, but they are crucial to the game happening at all. And getting the field ready for them is entirely about protecting their time.
This is huge. The playbook introduces some incredibly strict boundary setting here.
Oh, yeah.
They emphasize that if you want to respect your volunteers, you first have to define when you absolutely will not do the work.
And this blew my mind. The author's church office is completely closed on Fridays and Saturdays.
Completely closed.
They want their staff to have a normal weekend. So the hard and fast rule is that everything for Sunday, the sermon, the PowerPoint slides, the printed programs, the band rehearsals, every single thing has to be completed by Thursday at midnight.
It forces a level of operational discipline that most organizations lack.
But does it?
What do you mean?
I mean, in a world of 247 hustle culture, telling a team you aren't allowed to work for 2 days feels like you are leaving productivity on the table. By defining when the team isn't working, does that actually make them more productive when they are?
Yes, they are, because of Parkinson's law, which states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion.
Ah, right.
If you give a team until Sunday morning to finish a presentation, they will tinker with it until Sunday morning.
They'll overthink it.
Exactly. If you cut the deadline to Thursday at midnight, they prioritize the critical tasks and just get it done.
Okay, that makes sense.
But more importantly, from a human management perspective, people burn out when expectations are murky. By defining hard boundaries, you create psychological safety.
Right, they know when they can turn off.
Exactly. Volunteers usually stop showing up for two distinct reasons. Either they feel completely unneeded because they fell through the cracks, or they feel overwhelmed by an endless, creeping demand on their free time.
And to prevent people from falling through the cracks, the playbook uses the 48-hour rule.
Right.
Let's say someone fills out a communication card on a Sunday saying they want to volunteer. The leadership has a maximum of 48 hours to make first contact.
The clock is ticking.
Yeah, because the reasoning is that on Sunday, their faith or their interest in the mission is like white hot.
Yeah.
But if you wait until Wednesday to call them, that heat has totally dissipated. They've gone back to work, dealt with traffic, managed their kids. They might not even remember they were feeling inspired 3 days ago.
It is the rapid decay of intent. You have to capture that motivation while it's fresh. And the playbook doesn't just leave that follow-up to chance, right? They use the 3-2-1 method for their ministry leaders.
Oh, explain that one.
So, every week, leaders are expected to set aside just 1 hour to do 3 handwritten notes, 2 phone calls, and 1 face-to-face visit.
Just 1 hour.
Yeah. It systematizes the human connection.
I want to highlight the handwritten note part of that, because a handwritten note carries so much more weight than like an email blast.
Oh, absolutely.
It physically proves that someone sat down, thought about you, and spent their most valuable resource, their time, on you.
It's tangible.
Yeah. And when they finally get that volunteer in the door, they don't drop a 100-page training manual on their desk. They just ask them to shadow for a day, and they give them exactly 1 task. 1 simple task they can easily succeed at. No pressure, just show up and try.
Lowering the barrier to entry is how you create an immediate sense of belonging and competence. Yeah. If you overwhelm a new volunteer with a massive checklist, their brain perceives it as a threat to their already busy life. Giving them 1 task makes it almost harder to say no than to just give it a try.
Okay, so we've built this incredible internal machine. The owners define the win, the coaches are delegating like conductors, and the volunteer players are protected by boundaries and feeling competent.
A well-oiled machine.
Right. But none of that internal harmony actually matters if an outsider walks through the doors and feels totally alienated.
Not at all.
Which brings us to the 4th group, the spectators.
The Monday morning quarterbacks.
Exactly. Some of them you love, some of them you wish rooted for another team.
Yeah.
But viewing your organization entirely through their eyes is the only way to survive.
The source leans on a famous quote by Rick Warren here. People will go to a friendly church, but they'll stay if they make a friend.
Right.
And in this playbook, there are only 2 ways to make a friend. Join a smaller growth group or serve in a ministry.
But before they can even do that, you have to nail the initial surface-level experience. They call it the street-to-the-seat experience.
And nailing that requires brutal objectivity. The author shares a really revealing anecdote about acting as a secret shopper for a friend's organization.
Oh, right, the secret shopper.
Yeah, on paper, it was a great product. The music was high quality. The public speaking was engaging. The core team clearly loved each other and had great chemistry.
But the packaging was a
A
mess.
total mess.
The author says it wasn't clear where to enter the building from the parking lot. There was no clear signage pointing to the kids' area. The bathrooms were clean, which is a plus, but you had to go hunting down a labyrinth of hallways to find them.
Yeah, and there were random storage doors propped open and extra chairs just stacked up haphazardly.
Right. The author diagnosed it perfectly. The environment was insider-friendly.
Unintentionally, of course.
Right. But if you didn't already know the secret handshake, if you didn't already know that the bathroom was past the water fountain and take a left, you felt like an intruder.
You feel like you don't belong.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? The playbook uses another Rick Warren analogy that I think is going to resonate with everyone listening. The broken mirror.
Oh, this is so good.
Right. So if the mirror in your bathroom breaks, it really bothers you for the first few days. You stare at the crack while you brush your teeth.
All you see.
Yeah. But after a week, you don't even see the crack anymore. Your brain simply edits it out. You become completely blind to it.
Right.
But guess who does see the broken mirror? Every single guest who walks into your house.
What's fascinating here is the severe tension between the product and the packaging.
Yeah.
You can have the best software, the most compelling sermon, or the best cup of coffee in town. But if the parking lot is covered in trash, or the website navigation is broken, or the guest isn't greeted properly...
Wait, the playbook says 3 warm greetings from the street to the seat is the magic number? Or...
Yes, exactly. 3 greetings to make someone feel welcome. If you don't have that, that great content cannot overcome the poor user experience of a first-timer.
Right, the broken mirrors ruin the perception of the whole house.
Exactly.
Okay, let's say you do the hard work. You fix the mirrors. The spectator has a great time from the street to the seat. How do you get them to come back without acting like a desperate ex?
Right, which introduces the final group, the city. The city represents the broader community you are trying to reach.
Yeah.
And to get a spectator to keep engaging, to move them from a one-time guest to a regular, you need their information.
Right, a connection card, a kid's registration, a first-time donation.
Yeah. Once you have that, you enter them into a highly specific 4-week follow-up pipeline.
Let's look at the mechanics of this pipeline because it's interesting.
Week 1.
A handwritten note from the leader, mailed out every Monday.
A nice touch.
Yeah. Week 2, a phone call from the follow-up team, just thanking them, asking if they have questions, inviting them back. Week 4 is a form letter with all the specific ways to get plugged in and volunteer.
Notice you skipped week 3.
I did. Do you know what happens in week 3? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
A complete pause in communication.
Hold on, though. I live in a world where my inbox is flooded with drip campaigns and automated marketing and retargeting ads that follow me around the internet.
Oh, it's relentless.
Right. So intentionally ghosting a warm lead for a full week feels like terrible business. Doesn't the organization risk losing all that momentum they built up in weeks 1 and 2?
Well, this raises an important question about the fine line between following up and stalking.
Okay, stalking.
Yeah. In an era of constant digital bombardment, intentional silence is actually a highly effective communication tool.
Really?
Think of it like dating. If you go on a great first date, you send a nice text the next day.
Sure.
But if you text them every single day after that, demanding to know when you'll see them again, you look desperate and you scare them away.
Oh, totally.
Week 3 is playing it cool. It signals confidence. It says, we care about you, we noticed you, but we are not desperate.
That's a great point.
Most organizations, as the playbook notes, lead with the corporate form letter in week 1. By saving it for week 4 and inserting a pause in week 3, the playbook respects the spectator's autonomy.
It gives them space to breathe and process the experience on their own terms.
Yes.
And the ultimate goal of all of this, the 90-day goals, the coaches stepping back, the Thursday midnight deadlines, the secret shopper audits, the patient follow-ups, is to create a self-sustaining cycle.
A complete loop.
Right. The playbook says your calling is to invite people from the city to become spectators. Those spectators eventually feel comfortable enough to join the team as players.
And then the players master their roles and grow into coaches.
Exactly. Some coaches might even step up and become co-owners with you, and then you send those leaders right back out into the city to start the whole process over again.
It becomes an ecosystem of continuous leadership development. You aren't just trying to fill seats or hit a metric. You are trying to build capacity in people.
Wow.
But none of that happens if the field isn't ready for them at every single stage of that journey.
It all comes back to the turf.
Hmm.
So, to summarize this playbook for you, if you want to grow, your owners need to use that March Madness bracket to define a clear 90-day win.
Yep.
Your head coach needs to get out of the spotlight, put down the tuba, and let the team play. You have to protect your players' time with strict boundaries, like the Thursday midnight rule.
Crucial.
You must fix the broken mirrors so your space isn't just insider-friendly for the spectators. And you need a patient, non-creepy follow-up pipeline to bring it all home.
And I think it's clear the frameworks here completely transcend the specific context of a church.
Oh, absolutely.
They are fundamental truths about how human beings organize, work together, and experience new environments.
Whether you are trying to launch a startup or manage a corporate team or get your neighborhood association off the ground, evaluating your field is critical. You cannot ignore the environment.
We talked a lot about habituation today, how easy it is for our brains to become blind to the broken mirrors in our own space. So take a walk through your own field tomorrow. It might be your website's landing page, your office lobby, or your new hire onboarding documents.
Right.
Look at it strictly through the eyes of a spectator arriving from the city today. Ask yourself honestly, would I know exactly where to go, or is this experience strictly insider-friendly?
Man, what a question to leave on. The game is important, but never forget to check the boundary lines in the stadium seats before kickoff. Keep digging, keep looking for those broken mirrors, and stay curious. Catch you on the next deep dive.